Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. Court is now in session. With me, as always, is the man who, dead or alive, is coming with me tonight to see RoboCop in the theater, Mr. Drew Celestino.
That is accurate.
We're going to see RoboCop
preferably
tonight.
Alive. I'd rather be alive to see this movie.
Well, that is completely up to you, sir.
I choose.
I'll drag your corpse into the theater if that's what's required.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll come willingly. It's okay.
All right.
It's one of my favorite movies and all. What's up?
How's it going?
It's going. RoboCop tonight.
RoboCop tonight in 4K, which
On the big screen, does it matter?
No. But the theater we're going to is gorgeous. You said you've never been there before.
Never been to the North Park.
They always do great retro screenings. I saw the original Superman there.
Okay.
And I saw Wayne's World there.
That's an experience.
Yeah. So those were, it's a very classic style theater, and it's been restored.
Would you say it's more of a theater?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Theater. It's got nice comfy seats, not like the full reclining ones that we've kind of been spoiled with, but the seats are updated.
Okay.
So they're not like, it's an old world look with some modern conveniences.
I'm okay with that.
So yeah, it should be a good time. That being said, we're going to endeavor to keep the show tight tonight.
That's always the goal.
But dear listener, fret not. We're not going to shortchange you.
Never.
So that being said, let's get to our opening statements. Drew.
Hey.
How was your week?
It's been all right. Well, it happened, Carl.
What happened?
I finally saved Hyrule.
Ah, yes. The charred, burned remains of Hyrule.
Look, in fairness, it was charred and burned 100 years ago.
Yeah,
that's the point that's the story of the game.
How much longer were the forces of Ganon allowed to pillage?
About 200 hours.
Burn
about 200 plus hours.
Longer
in the
than
big picture, it's not a
should
lot.
have been.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right. So, but you finally beat it.
I did. Sunday kind of rolled around. I was hovering at around 112 shrines out of 120. And I said, I got some time today. I'm just going to go ahead and finish my shrines and knock that out. So at a certain point in the afternoon, I knocked out the shrines. I was like, well, I got 120 shrines. I guess I could finish off my couple of side quests. There was only like 2 I had left, amazingly, out of all the, countless side quests that are in the game. I only had 2 left. So,
yeah.
Well, and they both happen to be in Hyrule Castle, where I have really not dared to venture, even though I could have at any point. I'm like, well, I'm going to go over there and finish off these 2 side quests, which I did. And then I was like, well, I've been in the castle. I have no side quests left. I've got all the shrines. I guess I could maybe, farm some enemies and upgrade my armors more and, get all completionist on it. But then I was just like, you know what? No, it's Sunday night. I put the work in. It's time. Let's finish the fight.
So now you beat the game.
Correct.
Are you done with the game?
No, you know what? I've been wrestling with that. I don't want it to be over. So I don't know that I'm done with the game, even though I've beat the game. I feel like I like those upgrades and all that. I don't need them. The game's over, air quoting, but I kind of just want to play it, just to run around and experience it more.
When does the first DLC pack drop?
End of the week.
Okay.
So I kind of timed this out well. There's more content coming this week, so I get to keep playing.
You're not done with it.
No, God, no. And I'm so happy that I'm not done with it. It's so great. After beating it, I've just kind of got reflectful. Is that the word? Yeah, whatever. Reflective. There you go. And I was like, wow, I have never sunk this many hours into any game ever. What a game. Just what a fantastic experience this game has been. I can't stress it enough. It's just like I hit that point maybe at the 45-hour mark, maybe even longer, when I was realizing the scope of it, and I just stopped thinking finish this objective and then go to this one and then I'm closer to beating the game. At a certain point, I just let that go. I said, you know what? No, forget that. I'm just gonna play it and experience it and let it take me where it wants to take me. And wow, it's what a fantastic game.
Yeah.
What a fantastic game.
I've heard nothing less from pretty much everyone else who's played it. So
it's monumental. I'm flabbergasted by the scope, the scale, the polish, and just the experience of that game. I still don't know if I'd put it as my top Zelda ever, but in terms of video gaming achievements and in the Mount Games more or whatever, like it's pretty tight. It's a landmark. It is a landmark video game in a lot of ways. I don't know what else to say about it. It's fantastic.
Alrighty.
That happened.
So
Finished it off.
Was that the entirety of your week? Just
that's the crux. Yeah, I've been mostly taking it easy. So yeah, that's it, man.
Alrighty, sweet.
Hyrule is safe for now.
What's left of it?
We must rebuild.
Have they said how much, how long the DLC stuff is going to be?
One's a challenge mode, so it's basically as long as you can survive, I would assume. I don't know much more beyond that. And
so it's not like story DLC.
That's the second DLC. That's coming later. That's going to be story DLC. This one is more like challenge modes, a hard mode, some new items, and new armors and things like that.
Cool.
Yep. So, yeah.
Cool.
So now I'm looking for new games to play. I still have to finish Blaster Master Zero, on which I did purchase. I saw that new game that looks kind of like Mega Man. I shared with you and Alan.
Yes.
I forgot the name of it, but I think I'm going to pick that up because I do like me a good Mega Man-esque kind of game, as long as it's not suicidally hard like some of the latter Mega Mans are. But I'll still enjoy. Shovel Knight, for instance, was brilliant. Loved it to death. So, yeah. And Splatoon 2 comes out in 2 weeks. So, we have that. Or 2 weeks? No, wait. August. July or August? I don't know. Either way. I have it pre-ordered. That's all that matters.
Sweet.
What about you? What's going on?
Oh. Been kind of a long week.
Okay.
William decided to overachieve. And pop 4 teeth at once.
I see. So now he has all the teeth.
No.
Oh.
No. Still got a couple left.
Oh, so you have more to look forward to.
Yeah. But popping 4 teeth at once, it has its pros and its cons. Its pros is that you get 4 teeth out of the way at one time. Its cons is that you have to deal with popping a tooth times 4. So he was running a fever for a couple days. He's just been generally miserable.
Sounds like me.
Coughing and sniffling and sneezing and just feeling all the after effects of popping a tooth times 4. So that started, I want to say last Thursday. Yeah, because it started getting bad Friday night, and that's why I left game night early. And he's still he's past the worst of it, but he's still feeling the after effects. So that has been fun. But, it's part of the package, going into it, you're going to have times like that. Saturday, I competed in the fighting game tournament.
How'd you do?
Which is its legitimate name. They just call it the fighting game tournament. I competed in Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 5. I'm happy to report for the first time I advanced past the first round in Street Fighter.
Hey!
Because my first round opponent didn't show up.
Oh. Well,
so, as the great Homer Simpson once said, the 2 greatest words in the English language, default. So, yeah. Then I proceeded to go 0-2 in Street Fighter. To be fair, I haven't picked up Street Fighter in a couple months.
Okay.
So, there was that, and then I fared better in Tekken.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I lost my first match, but then I won my second match. So, and then I was very quickly dispatched in my third match. I won a total of 3 wins and 4 losses in Tekken.
Okay.
Counting individual games played. So it was a good time. Again, big thank you to Brian Stone, who has been on the show before, and Game on Land for putting on a fun time for everyone to have. Shortly after my time in the tournament was over, I was thinking, I'm like, there's an X-Wing tournament going on.
See, it all comes back to X-Wing.
Didn't have my ships with me, but I was like, you know what? I'm really starting to like this group, this Western New York X-Wing group. So I walked like a mile and a half up the street with a 20-pound fight stick on my back. Checked out the rest of the X-Wing tournament. It was cool. Interesting builds, fun times. This new kid comes and plays. He's considerably younger than most everyone else who plays. I noticed that the X-Wing crowd skews slightly older than the fighting game.
Not surprised.
Crowd.
Yeah.
But there's this new kid who started showing up like a week after I did. This kid's got some game.
Oh,
He won his first tournament he ever played in. He won. So, I believe his name's Ethan. I'm gonna look it up.
It's an E name. We know that
E
much.
Name. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just to kind of stop in and see that, and that was happening at Collector's Inn. Yeah. Other than that, it was kind of a straightforward week.
Good deal.
Today's kind of rough though. Today marks the 10th anniversary of the passing of my friend William, who my son William is named after. So it's kind of rough. This day is never easy. It's hard to rank one over another like William or my father, which I've discussed about on the show before. But I mean, sometimes it's harder thinking of William because like he went much, much too early. So yeah, kind of going through the day with that.
Well, 10 years, big landmark.
Yeah, it's strange to think like he never met Julie. He's obviously never met the child who's named after.
Right.
I always wonder what I would have named him had William lived. Maybe Bruce. Evan O'Connor was named the young lad who won the store tournament at Collector's Inn. So congratulations to you, Evan. Kid's got some game.
Carl will look forward to dispatching you down the road.
I don't know. Kid's got some. He's got some games. He's always got interesting builds.
Okay.
So I haven't had a chance to play him yet. I definitely do want to play him. Tournament coming up this Saturday at Two Kings Gaming at the Eastern Hills Mall. So
all right,
going to fly Decimator Squad. I've got 2 built, and I'm gonna test fly them. Hopefully both. Thursday night. My Decimator is currently getting custom painted.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're hitting Warhammer levels, are we?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, the game is crazy fun. I'm enjoying it more. Currently I'm enjoying it more than fighting games because every time I say this, it sounds like a backhanded compliment to the game and the community around the game, but it is not intended that way. The time commitment to develop your skills in X-Wing is not as high as the time commitment to develop your skills in a fighting game.
No, you claim that, yeah.
Yeah, like I've said before, if you want to be competitive in a fighting game, you've got to put in like minimum 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my week. Dear listeners, if you want to tell us about your week, if you want to ask us some questions, if you want to make some comments about the show, we welcome any and all feedback. You can reach us at the following social media outlets. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. That being said, bringing our opening statements to an end and going into cross-examination, we have some questions.
All right.
Our first question today comes from Mr. Adam Malone.
Hey.
Wealthy young man about town. He has a question for your show. He says, I want proof anyone has ever said far and few between. I think Drew just made that up.
No. No. Nope. I hear it all too often. Usually on the radio or even on some podcasts or, in meetings with, if you work in an office, and I've worked in several, you have those meetings and you have, people talking, and sometimes those people like to pontificate and like to think that they sound smart, but then they drop the far and few between line on you, and I just kind of tilt my head like a dog, like, eh? And then, and I feel like I'm the only one that picks up on it because everyone else just kind of lets it slide.
Yeah.
But I know.
It might be like those word puzzles you see where the first and the last letter of the word are in the proper place, but all the other words are mixed up, but you can still read what it's intended to be.
Sure. I have lots of little vocabulary tics like that.
All right.
Like, for instance, is irregardless an actual word, or is that just basically like it's an oxymoron, really? Irregardless.
Okay.
Like, isn't regardless just enough? As in with no regard? Irregardless means the same thing? Like, whatever. It's all good. I don't care. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But no, lots of things like that. I'm also the grammar Nazi on social medias and in writing form, so I'm that guy too.
Yeah.
No,
that's
in the words of Vince McMahon, pronouns, pal. Think twice, type once, I say.
There you go. Okay, now we move on. Thank you very much, Adam, for your question. We move on to the Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor of The Devil's Due. Mr. J. Gelsomino and Alan Waiters both sent in questions, starting with Mr. Gelsomino. Drew and Carl, I'll see you guys in a couple hours, but I'll ask these questions now.
Oh, Jay getting in late.
You could watch one movie with the director and force them to explain themselves throughout the movie. What will you choose between the following?
I'm glad he's giving us choices because I'm
going to read these in reverse order because I think he buried the lead with the first one.
Okay.
Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
RoboCop 3.
Okay.
Jaws the Revenge.
Okay.
Or G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Well, if I watched that with the director, that would mean I'd have to watch it again. I don't know that I'm cut out for that. I might fold.
Well, you know what its powers are now, so you can steel yourself against them.
Well, then again, that was that might have been the last gasp of my optimism and hope in the world. So when I saw that movie, I think that pretty much killed all of that. So maybe I could sustain myself watching that again.
Were you ever optimistic about the film at any point during pre-production announcements?
No. I was, as soon as I heard what the direction they were going with it when it was first announced, I was like, "This is terrible. This is all wrong." And I heard
it's all wrong. I tell you,
yeah, it was wrong. And remember IGN? Remember they still exist, but at the time they had an IGN movie channel.
Yep.
And I wrote in once to the IGN movies, and I kind of like called out the producer and the script, and they had a reader column at that point, and they put my letter in, and like Lorenzo de Bonaventura, he's the producer. He produced G.I. Joe amongst many other movies. He saw that article and he like got combative about it in another interview like later on, and like called it out, and I was just like, this guy's a jerk and he's wrong. And not for nothing, I know he's a big Hollywood big shot, but I like to think that I was right and he was wrong. So
listen, Hollywood big shots often prove that they don't know anything.
That's correct. So anyway, I don't know if I could sustain it given that list. The other movies I have no real interest. No, like for RoboCop 3, it's a sex. That's playing favorites with what we like. But at the same time, like, I'm pretty sure I know what that guy was going for, and I'm pretty sure he had no money and was in a thankless position and given a studio mandated PG-13, and RoboCop had kind of already ceased to be a thing.
Yeah.
By the time he had to make that movie, so I don't care. The other movies, yeah, whatever, they're bad. But same thing with like Wolverine Origins. I'm sure the director didn't give a crap about comics, and they were just going to be like, here, take this and make something and whatever, and I don't need to hear that guy talk. But the director of G.I. Joe, yeah, okay. If I could bear watching the movie again, I might sit down with that man and tell him everything that he did wrong.
I would be there with a bucket of popcorn watching you. I'd be like 3 rows ahead of you, turned around, just watching you and him watch the movie, just waiting for you to just snap and start punching him.
I wouldn't even do that. I would just watch it and be like, dude, what is this about? What were you doing there? Let me tell you where you went wrong here.
Let me tell you where you went wrong. See the opening credits when it says directed by? That's where you went wrong.
Then again, I think that was directed by Steven Sommers, was it not?
I don't know.
I think it was. And let me see. Steven Sommers. Yeah, I think he did G.I. Joe. He did do G.I. Joe. Let's look at what he's done since, shall we?
Did he do the second G.I. Joe?
No. I'm pulling this up because I want to know now.
We're trying to keep it tight this
We'll keep it tight. I got it right here. I got IMDb in my hand. All filmography. Director, Steven Sommers. After G.I. Joe, you know what he's done?
What?
Not much. A movie called Odd Thomas that came out in 2013. I have no idea what that is.
Sure.
And then a movie with question marks for the release date called When Worlds Collide. So, in other words, Mr. Sommers, much like with Mr. Bonaventura, I was right and you were wrong. Between the two of us, my career has taken an uptick. Yours, not so much.
Alrighty.
Just putting that out there. Granted, he probably gets much bigger royalty checks than I'll ever see, but still.
Yeah. So my answer to that question is same. Strictly just to watch Drew. Just snapping, because I think at some point you will just snap.
I probably would.
It'll probably be like at the end when Cobra Commander.
I like the air quotes there. Thank you.
Puts on the mask.
If you call that a mask, yeah, sure.
And I think that would probably be the point where it just is. That's the end. Drew goes ballistic.
This is why I hate Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Channing Tatum. I'll never forgive them for that movie.
I think they both redeemed themselves.
I don't care. To me, never. Never forget.
What if they were in like a legitimately good G.I. Joe movie? Like a total reboot, they were playing different characters and they were legitimate. Like if Joseph Gordon-Levitt was playing like Dial Tone.
Dial Tone needs a mustache, sir. So no, he can't do it.
I'm sure he's capable of growing one.
I don't think so.
All right, then he's playing Mainframe.
Okay. I'm willing to give everyone a chance to redeem themselves.
There you go. World's a better place when we have forgiveness and give people second chances.
Yeah. But spite, though.
Spite is the fuel that keeps the fires of Drew burning bright.
That's right. That's why I get out of bed in the morning.
Okay, Jay's question for you. Drew.
The answer is spite. Now go.
Do you agree with my fan theory that Ghost occurred, the movie Ghost, starring Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, Whoopi Goldberg.
We know Ghost.
That Ghost occurs in the same universe as DC. Clayface is the true killer of Sam Wheat. He has infiltrated Sam and Molly's apartment, stole the identity of Willie Lopez to make sure Sam was out of the way, and he can hurt Molly if not. And he can hurt Molly. If not, why not? If you don't believe in his theory, why don't you believe in his theory?
No, I can't get behind that, unfortunately.
But how great would it be if, like, after the movie in a post-credit scene,
like Sam
becomes the Spectre? Yeah. Or he's like confronted by the Phantom Stranger?
That could be cool. He just becomes Dead Man.
No, because Dead Man's a specific dude. It's not like
Fair enough. No, you know why? Because there's not enough murder and death in Ghost.
There's too much color.
There's too much color. Yes,
you said you were going to try this weekend and see Wonder Woman. Were you successful?
I was not. Okay. Our weekend was a little crazy. It did not work out where that could happen.
All right.
So yeah, but I still intend on seeing it. So maybe this coming weekend,
cool.
If we can, let schedules be our schedules. It's been crazy, man. Like, wife's been super busy with the rescue and all that, animal rescue, and she had to go watch her brother-in-law, or her brother, my brother-in-law. They're out of town, so she had to go watch their dogs for a little bit. And, just madness. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying no, you don't agree with Jay's.
I'm sorry, I can't get behind that. No.
Okay. All right. Question for me: What father-son combo would you prefer to wind up like with your son?
Does he have a list here?
Yes, he does.
Go on.
None of these are good. Batman and Damian. Alex J. Murphy and Jimmy Murphy.
His name was Jimmy?
I don't know. Jack and Matt Murdock. Hulk and Nick Hogan. Martin, Sean Brody. Martin and Michael Brody. Geez. I'm going to have to go with Batman and Damian because the rest of these, all the rest of these either have one or the other, either maimed, murdered, or have a sex tape released of them. So I'm just, we'll go with Batman and Damian.
In fairness, if in that case, he can come back with the Lazarus Pit. So,
I mean,
I'm
freaking rich.
That too.
So
that too.
We got a sponsor. Me. All right, Jay, thank you very much for your question. Now on to Mr. Alan Waiters. Hello, Carl and Drew. How is your summer going? Mine is going very well since I'm on vacation.
Shut up, Alan.
I was going to.
You're a teacher. We know.
Yeah, you get it. You're a teacher.
Enjoy your time off. Well, we're working.
Yeah.
Boo. Anyway, go on.
Hey, Alan, you know what we're going to do tonight? Kiss our wives.
Oh, dude.
Well, if he's going to get aggressive about being on vacation, then, he's going to punch. He's got to get ready to get punched back.
Actually, never mind. I got nothing.
Carl and Drew, the SNES Classic was finally revealed.
It was. You were jumping the gun on the news this week, but yeah, go ahead. Yes,
he always jumps the gun on the news.
It's okay. Maybe we should put the news before the reader feedback.
No. He just needs to learn how to do it right.
That's okay.
Do you think games like Pilot Wings, SimCity, and Final Fright and ActRaiser were excluded because they have not aged well, or because they went with games that people would recognize instantly? I think a lot of this we're going to handle in the news.
We are.
I will say, though, like a lot of people are saying Pilot Wings. Pilot Wings wasn't that great a game.
Yes, it was great. It was a great game. It's a fantastic game.
It's a tech demo.
No. It was a fantastic game, especially if you finished if you aced all the courses and you unlock the helicopter, you get the bomb stuff. Great game.
It's like, look what we can do with Mode 7 scaling.
It's a fun game. It's a good game. Yeah, you know what couldn't do that though? Genesis. So
they have blast processing.
That wasn't the thing.
Carl, are you glad that Venom is not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Or would you like to see Venom in the MCU if done properly? Yeah, I'm glad that the Sony stuff is not connected to the Marvel stuff.
Oh, I got a take on that too.
I don't think Sony should be doing a Venom film. I don't think Sony should be trying to do like a Black Cat Silver Sable film. I think if Sony was smart and if they wanted to build a Spider-Verse, they would just do it with Miles Morales, build up that story, tell that story, just let Marvel do the Peter Parker story. I think doing the Miles Morales story gives you an opportunity to do a different take, a different spin on the character for, some obvious reasons, others not so obvious. But I think it frees you up from a lot of the shackles of what you've done before, and B, what audience expectations would be.
But then they'll miss out on that sweet, sweet Venom nostalgia money.
Okay, Drew.
Yeah, I got you there. Go on.
No, I just...
I'm right, unfortunately. That's the whole decision-making process. What can we milk for profit?
Do you seriously think, though, that, because we've discussed how there are those characters that kind of transcend...
Venom transcends.
But does he still? He did. There's no argument that he did, but does he still? I don't think he may still, but I don't think on the level that you're anticipating.
He's not on the level of Spider-Man, but he's...
No, I'm talking about those characters that, general public get, Deadpool, Harley Quinn, Spider-Gwen.
Question for you. Okay, hang on. Who was Deadpool before Deadpool came out? Nobody. He was known to comic people, and that was it.
Non-comic people knew.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
they did not. That's ridiculous. No, Deadpool was made by that movie. Now he's got the recognition. His star was rising, but now he's omnipresent. Venom was already omnipresent before. He's got it. It's receded in recent years, but believe me, they throw Venom out there. People know Venom.
Okay, your question from Alan. Drew, as we know, WWE's ratings have gone down the toilet.
They have.
As a wrestling aficionado, what is the most important thing to do to fix this problem? Develop characters with better storylines, cut down the time, or let them wrestle? Also, can Lucha Libre get some love? As cheesy as it is, better than most shows.
Oh, Lucha Underground? Lucha Underground is a fantastic show. What can they do? This is a whole show. I could talk about what they need to do. TV ratings aren't the end-all, be-all, because I think TV ratings for everything across the board are going down. We have too many channels, too many options, and too many ways to consume content nowadays. Television being one of them. A lot of households, I think young people don't care about television. They have their phones, they got the internet. TVs they're just not the end-all, be-all anymore. You can get content anywhere. But WWE's problems are deeper than just declining TV ratings because of, technology. Their problems are like ingrained in their culture and what they've become. And how do they fix it? For starters, I mean, get Raw down to 2 hours instead of 3, and number one. Stop overexposing everyone. Fire every writer you have. Stop pandering to whoever you're pandering. I don't even know who Raw panders to anymore, to be honest with you. Stop the shenanigans. Start making long-term plans for people. Execute those plans. Don't, as the reports say, try and create, air quotes, moments. Actually start plotting things and making plots work and doing consistent characterizations and writing. Make matches matter. Make your titles matter. Make yourself, presentable. Because ultimately, if nothing matters on your shows, why am I watching it? Nothing has stakes. Nothing has consequence. Nothing matters. So if nothing matters, I don't want to watch it. I mean, that's really like from a philosophical level. That's one way they could go to fix it. Ultimately, the only real fix is going to come once Vince McMahon either gives up control of the company or dies, thereby giving up control of the company. Yeah, everything stops with Vince, and I don't know. I'm not saying that he's a maniacal. Well, he is a maniacal lunatic, but I don't know that he cares about the things I just talked about. I just think he's running the ship the way he thinks it needs to be run, and he doesn't understand that it's not the way it needs to be run now in 2017.
Who's in line to take over after Vince?
Probably Stephanie. Could be Shane, though. We don't know behind the scenes. Stephanie has an actual role in the corporate structure of the company. Shane McMahon is an on-screen character. That's all he is. He is not involved in the company proper. But when Vince dies, in his will, if all his stock goes to Shane is therefore the big chief. I don't know. I really don't know how that shakes out. But I would assume Stephanie and Triple H take over. Triple H's vision of wrestling is much better than Vince's. But yeah, WWE's in a bad place. I was talking about this today with some friends, dude, and it's like if you were to ask me, and I'm biased, but I still feel there's just something happening right now. If you were to ask me, like, what's the story of wrestling in 2017 so far, I would say WWE is deflating slowly, like one of those silver balloons you get for your kid, those novelty balloons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then over a period of time, they just start to slowly sink a little bit. It's real subtle.
Yep. Oh yeah.
That's happening. But what they don't even realize is the wrestling world isn't really talking about them anymore. They're talking about the indies, air quotes, and I think more notably than that, they're talking about New Japan. And that is timing out with, there's a lot of reasons why that is. Number one, the product is way better. The work is way better. The matches are better. But, it's also corresponding with the fact that they have a Gaijin in a top spot putting on two of the best matches in history with Kenny Omega. So it appeals to Westerners right now because there's a Westerner in that spot. But their profile is rising. And I'm not saying they're ever going to be at the level of WWE. WWE has a global reach, and they are the biggest stage there is. They have the brand name recognition. They've got history. They got 30 years of being the big guy to fall back on. They're never just going to go up in flames. But they're slowly losing their luster, and I think at some point, maybe sooner than later, their luster will be lost, and someone else will be there with a hot new toy to kind of step in and snatch it from them, and they won't even see it coming. I don't know that they're ever going to be bigger than the WWE, but something else is going to kind of take hold. I think it already is taking hold, and WWE doesn't even realize it. They're just kind of they're just kind of letting it happen. Either they don't understand or know, or they have no answers for it. I don't know. That's just how it feels to me right now. It just feels like one's on the way down, one's on the way up. Something's going to change. I don't know what, but something's going to change. That's what I think. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah.
Can they fix it? No, I don't think they can. Not without major changes to their product. And I think as a company, they aren't willing to do it, or they can't do it because of what their company effectively is now. I don't think that they can.
Alrighty.
There you go. My thoughts on the wrestling business right now.
That wraps up our cross-examination for this week, and which we move on to news of the week and the case files.
Things happen when we shut off the recorder.
It's freaking frustrating. We started doing this show on Friday night. I'd show up, we'd do a show, we'd hang out, we'd play some games, and then a couple months in, I was like, you know what? We want to make sure for our listeners we have the most up-to-date news information and giving our takes on it and whatnot. And so we switched to recording on Tuesday night. Somebody must have told Hollywood, and Hollywood must hate us. Because,
did you hear what I said about Steven Summers?
Because last week, after we got literally within an hour after we got done recording.
Less than that. We stopped, you checked your phone, and there it was.
Yeah, major news story hits. Which would have been the story of the week had not less than 24 hours later, another major news story hits.
Well, we got to go one at a time here.
You've obviously heard all the takes, but now you're going to hear our takes because you love us and
that's what you come to this show for.
Yeah. So last week, again, almost immediately after we stopped recording, it was announced that a Watchmen series is in development. Now, as soon as you hear that, many of you, probably like Drew, would roll your eyes and be kind of wondering why. But then you hear it's in development at HBO.
I have reservations.
HBO,
go on.
Known. Can I at least get through
Yes, you can.
Before you start? So HBO, known for very high quality programming, original programming. We're not going to blame them, for Transformers and whatnot. So you hear that, but then it was announced that David Lindelof would be showrunner. This, as I've noticed, has kind of split fan community opinions in half. A lot of people think he redeemed himself in a lot of ways with his last show on HBO, Leftovers. But some others have some differing opinions. You being one of them.
That's right, sir.
Go.
Hey, you're not going to find... Well, you will, but I'm as you may know, a big Watchmen guy. Okay? Love it to death. I own several versions of it. I own the Absolute Edition, which is great. I have 2 paperback copies. One's my loaner, one's my reader. I've got I have the RPG books, which are the only outside official, air quotes, official material outside of the original book that was sanctioned by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. I've got that stuff. I've got making of the movie. I've got making of the comic. I'm a Watchmen guy. Okay.
Yep.
And hearing it it's going to be an 12. They haven't said how many parts it's going to be, but I'm just going to ballpark the 12-part hour episode and issue format. Makes sense, right? Hey, cool! They should have did that. They should have did that before they made the movie. That's what everyone kind of was asking for then. So on the surface, it's like, yeah, Lindelof though. Well, it's twofold. One, I think the appeal of Watchmen is starting to diminish. And I say that reluctantly, but not so reluctantly. I think that it's been strip mined. by other people, and elements of it have been put into other form and other stories to the point of kind of, exhaustion almost. So its original impact is sort of deadened a little because it's been aped so many times. That hurts me, because it's such a great piece, and I think it's as it stands, it's still fantastic. But I think as a thing, people might be a little burned out or let down by what it really is. But anyway, Lindelof. The big sticking point is Lindelof. I heard The Leftovers was good, and you know what? If it is, great. I haven't seen it, but I watched Lost, dude. I watched Lost. That was a show he ran. Screw him.
It's not just Lost that you have a sticking point with.
Oh, yeah. Then there's that little movie called Prometheus that, everyone was a complete moron in, and he wrote that too. Granted, he could always pawn that off on Ridley Scott, and, based on what I've heard about the Covenant movie, I didn't see it, the new Alien
Covenant,
then maybe Ridley's more to blame. But you know what? Your name's on it too, pal. So you're 2 for 2 with the letdown factor and the everyone acting stupid and the big mystery that we're not going to answer and solve. Yeah, I don't know if I want you in charge of my Watchmen adaptation, buddy.
Well,
having said that, sorry, I don't even interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I've also seen the movie that they did make where Zack Snyder was slavish to the visuals, which visually. Hey, good job.
It was off the
But
page.
he also missed all of the nuance of the actual tone and meaning behind the words and the story. And he just focused on the graphic aspects, the violence, and the visuals. So maybe a more nuanced, fresh look at it is a good idea. Maybe we don't need to be slavishly devoted to the source material. I don't know. I don't really know what I want anymore, and I think I'm at the point where I'm kind of like with Alan Moore, which is saying a lot because I'm not the biggest Alan Moore fan personally, but the work stands for itself. Watchmen is perfect as it is, as a comic book.
Yeah.
I don't need it adapted. It's perfect as it is. That's how it was intended to be, and as it is, it's basically perfect. Like it's a brilliant comic book about comic books and about the history of comic books in a way. And it's also got, the weight of the world and all that stuff in it as well. So it doesn't need to be adapted. But if you're going to adapt it, maybe at least try and, I don't know, maybe I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what, if you're going to do it, maybe try and find a new relevant angle to it and do that and do it well. Keep the tone true, keep the intent true, but you don't necessarily need to be slavishly devoted to the book, I think. I don't know. I'm of many minds about this, but Lindelof doesn't instill me with hope. So, yeah, there you go.
All right. I'm hopeful. I enjoyed the movie. Now, granted, I had not read the book up until about a week before I saw the movie. So I read the book. I haven't done I've read it like 2 or 3 times. I haven't done the multiple readings, obviously, that you have. I like the change that Snyder made to the ending.
A lot of people do.
It wasn't, because...
Without spoiling it, yeah.
I don't think the squid would play.
I think it would. I think it would. It would have to be totally... Here's why I didn't hear... Okay, the concept that they did in the movie is okay, but they sanitized it.
It's what not I mean so much by that. It was... You kind of needed a little more reason for Dr. Manhattan to leave. And this provided that. It provided a... Yeah. I just think if they tried to do the squid, it's something that works on paper, but I don't think would necessarily work in a film format. I think it could, but you'd have to be very, very, very graphic with it. And I think the movie was scared. For all the things the movie did show, somehow they shied away from like the most gratuitously bloody, grotesque, messed up stuff in the book. Yeah. Snyder, bro! It's blood, bro! You didn't show it? Getting soft, bro. Soft. Watchmen was after 300, right? Yes. The movie. Correct. Yep. Yeah. Well, maybe it's just tired of showing blood. Showed a lot of blood in 300.
No. This is Zack Snyder we're talking about. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for it. It's not the property that would have been my first choice for HBO to adapt. My first choice would be Saga.
Oh,
I'd love to see HBO take a run at Saga.
I don't know what the budget would be on that show, though. Oh, my God.
That would.
But that's a good idea, though.
Yeah. The only... There's 3 networks that I would be confident in doing Saga. In order from most confident to least confident.
Okay.
HBO.
Yeah.
AMC. FX.
I feel like it's got to be on HBO or Showtime or something.
Just because of pure budgetary reasons.
Yeah. I just... AMC or FX are going to have to... You're going to have to cut a lot of the language in the
visuals.
The visuals.
Yeah.
I think the brilliance of Saga is just how true it feels.
Yeah.
And dulling that edge is not... It's got to be all in.
Yep.
Anyway.
So yeah, there was that news. Which would have been the big news of the week.
It's a pretty big deal. Watchmen TV show.
But less than 24 hours later, something dropped that totally ate its lunch. It was announced on Wednesday of last week, Wednesday or Thursday, that directors Miller and Lord were leaving the Star Wars Han Solo film. Then it was announced shortly later, the old caveat came up, creative differences, and it's pretty much been confirmed that they were fired. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, who I know they're big corporations and executive producers all right now, but Kathleen Kennedy knows her stuff. If they didn't like the way it was going and they didn't say it was Star Wars, then I trust them. So yeah, they were fired. And then after a very short period of time, they brought in this director, a couple, I don't know, he's kind of out there in an indie circuit and whatnot, and he's done some things and got a little bit of juice. They got Ron Howard to direct Star Wars.
They did. Who starred in George Lucas's first movie? By the way?
Yes, his second movie, American Graffiti, THX 113.
That was his. That's right. I'm sorry. Yep. Yeah. Either way, it's a fun little connection there.
Yeah. So yeah,
dude.
And this is not like what happened with like Josh Trank with Rogue One when they were months before production. And
no, they were in the thick of filming. Like they were.
Yeah, they were.
This was almost in the can.
I think they're more than halfway. I don't think it's almost in the can, but they're definitely past the halfway point.
Yeah.
And I guess that Disney, again, being Disney, and this is one of those instances where that's a good thing. They have a vision for what they want done. I get, from what I understand, they did it with Force Awakens and they did it with Rogue One, where they kind of take like a little break from filming just to kind of evaluate where they're at, make sure everything's going good. And apparently they didn't like what they saw.
Well, with Force Awakens though, it was JJ's show, and he did the job.
He
delivered. And without incident. Rogue One, yeah, those the reshoot stuff, and it's basically kind of come out that the director, I'm sorry, was it Ryan Johnson?
No, Ryan Johnson is
doing Last Jedi. I'm sorry,
I forget the guy's name. He did Godzilla.
Yes, I feel bad. I don't know his name.
I'll look it up.
However, I guess he didn't really direct the reshoots, so they had someone else kind of step in. But he was gracious enough to kind of let that happen, so they let him keep his name as attached as director of the film. And now they kick off 2 other directors. I feel like Lucasfilm, we gotta. You're getting a little reputation here for
Gareth Edwards.
I'm sorry for forgetting his name. I like Godzilla and I like Rogue One.
Yeah.
Disney, what's going on over there?
I'm okay with it.
Look, by all accounts, here's the thing:
Force Awakens and Rogue One were terrible movies.
No, they weren't. No, they were not. No, but
then that would be a different story.
That's fine. But the thing is like like by all accounts. By the way, for the Han Solo flick, apparently what they were delivering was
like straight up comedy.
Like Ace Ventura, pet detective.
I don't
comedy.
want Star Wars.
That's
movies
ridiculous.
Should have funny moments, but are not comedies.
Right. Not to mention, I guess, like the way they wanted him to, the actor to play Han. They wanted him to play. I think they even said like Ace Ventura. Like when did Han Solo become a comedic character? When did this happen?
Yeah. No.
But my point beat my point.
When did Han Solo ever talk to Chewbacca with his butt?
Wow.
You just pictured it.
There's a visual that I never wanted, but there it is.
Now, all right, here's the added visual. Now, picture Han Solo talking to Chewbacca with his butt. Picture him talking to Chewbacca like Harrison Ford would talk out of his butt.
Oh, God. Or picturing him escaping naked out of the butt of a bantha. Get hot in those banthas. There you go. There's a vision for you.
Okay, now maybe that we're talking about it.
So, all right, but here's the thing. This is like 2 movies in a row where, I got an idea. Disney, screen these people better. You hired them. Did this not come up in the meeting? Like, hey, what kind of movie are you guys going to make? And if they say a screwball comedy, you don't hire them.
Yeah, but Drew, how many have you always answered every question in a job interview with 100% honesty?
Yes, as honest as I can be. I might. No,
and therein lies that as soon as you said I might.
No, I'm honest. I would never lie about my intentions.
I don't.
Because that's what happens when you do that.
This is one of those things where like people can cry foul about how Lord and Miller were treated and whatnot, and these guys did the Lego movie. These guys, I think they did the Batman Lego movie.
They're not nobodies, man.
Yeah, they're going to land on their feet.
That's fine, but I feel like
Disney is one of the few companies with the Marvel property and with the Star Wars property in the cinematic aspect. I have total confidence in.
Okay.
So if they're saying, this isn't working, we're going to move on, I'm like, okay, great.
All right.
Because you've shown me that you know what your vision is, you know what you want it to be, and you get what you want out there. And it's been good.
It's been good so far. I guess, you know what the other thing that this has kind of like taught me, though, or reminded me of? Boy, I wasn't really on board with this Han Solo movie idea, and after all this, I'm still not. I just,
I know.
I still have that kind of feeling like, do we really need this? Do we need this movie?
I'm looking more forward to Lando in the
Aren't we all?
movie than I am the actual Han Solo.
I think we all are.
No, I mean, but at the same time, we kind of had the same reactions to Rogue One. Like, do we need to know what the story is? And then Rogue One came out, and we're like, not only do we need to know what the story is, but it's...
At least with that, like, it happened off to the side. This is recasting Harrison Ford. Like, you got a principle here. That's where it gets a little like, okay, I guess.
You know what? Tell me a good story and I'll forgive you some sins.
That's totally fair. I totally understand.
And
but how do you feel?
Want to say we want to tell a young Han Solo story? I'm like, okay. If they said we're starting a whole new spin-off franchise featuring young Han Solo, I'd probably be like, this is not what we need. But these legacy films are one-shot deals.
Okay, fair enough.
And so, tell me a good story.
How good do you feel if you're Ron Howard right now? If it's bad, you can pawn it off on the other guys. If
you're playing
good,
with house money.
If it's good, you're like, I saved it. Bow down to Opie.
You're playing with house money.
He's Opie, right?
Yeah, he's Opie too.
He's Opie. Okay. Richie Cunningham is your god now.
But I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with it. Because, his record isn't spotless.
No.
But 8 times out of 10, you're going to get a really good movie from Ron Howard.
I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I'm going to say that it wasn't. Once that news came out, all the movie networks on HBO and Showtime, they're showing Ron Howard movies like you would not believe. Like every night, like Cocoon was on the other night. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh man.
Can we get Wilford Brimley in the Star Wars movie? Can we make that happen? He's still alive, isn't he?
Define alive.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's essentially a Muppet with a pulse right now.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's age, man. It happens to all of us.
Yeah, it does. All right.
So, yeah.
That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that was pretty big. That broke the internet for a day or so.
It did. It really did.
Okay, last bit of news. As mentioned by Mr. Alan Waiters, the most non-surprising, we all saw it coming, but still happy that it's happening.
Sure.
News was announced earlier this week. Nintendo, following up on their success with the Nintendo Entertainment System Classic, is going to bring out in September a Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic.
That's right.
Now, Nintendo has not officially confirmed the list of games
Oh, yeah,
yet,
they have. Yeah, they have.
but
They're on the box.
the full list, the full 21,
Yep, 21
was
games.
the one that was in the Kotaku article that I sent to you. I'll bring it up.
Bring it up. Yeah, it's all confirmed.
While I'm bringing that up, so it is going to be $80.
$80.
It's $20 more expensive than this Classic. But to be fair,
It's the Super, though, and they get 2 controllers this time.
well, I don't think you can really make an argument for it's the Super.
I can.
Like, you can't make an argument for, you're getting more power, so we're going to raise the price. I think
You're not necessarily getting more power, but you're getting
price-
more content by a lot.
Well, there's less total number of games, isn't there?
There's less total number of games, but read those games off, and I'll tell you where that money's going. I'll tell you where that content's coming from.
No, I get what you're saying. But you're also getting a second controller.
Yes,
Which
is not nothing.
Definitely welcome.
Especially since they're including a fighting game on there.
Yes. So, okay, here is the list that Kotaku put out. Contra 3 Alien Wars.
Yes.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yes.
Earthbound.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 3.
Yes.
F-Zero.
Oh.
Kirby Superstar.
Okay, now I'm a little tepid.
Kirby's Dream Course.
Now I'm definitely a little tepid.
Legend of Zelda Link to the
Yes!
Past. Mega Man X.
Give it to me now.
Secret of Mana.
Carl, my heart just stopped. Ah, there it goes. Yes! Secret of Mana, dude.
Star Fox. Star Fox 2.
Never before released. Star
Probably 'cause
Fox
it's
2.
terrible.
No.
I know, I'm just trolling you. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. Yes!
There you go. That's what I wanted. But you're going to be mad when I tell you what Japan's getting instead. But go on. I'll tell you in a minute.
Super Castlevania 4.
Okay.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Okay.
In case you want to remember what hate feels
That's
like.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Super Mario Kart.
The OG granddaddy of them all.
Can't wait for that battle mode.
Yes.
Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
Yes. That's huge, dude. That's huge.
Super Mario World.
Classic to this day. Gave us Yoshi.
Super Metroid.
Do I even need to?
Yeah, no.
You know.
We know.
You know.
Super Punch Out.
See, again, that one I'm a little okay.
So that's the list is reported by Kotaku.
Yes,
So
that is the official list of games.
List. Okay.
Japan's getting Super Street Fighter 2, by the way, not just Turbo.
I'm okay with that.
Really?
Like, seriously, if I was going to pick... Because the best version of Super Street Fighter 2 is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's the best version of that particular iteration. But if you told me that I had to pick a Street Fighter game that was on SNES to go on SNES Classic, I would have picked Turbo Hyper Fighting.
Over Super?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. I thought you might want those 4 extra characters and stuff.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like those characters or anything. For me, that was the best version of Street Fighter on the SNES.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Dude, so...
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, Earthbound, Mario RPG, Secret of Mana. Those are 4 of the best. Not only are they 4 of the best games on the SNES, but those are long games. That is mega content.
This is very RPG friendly.
The Super Nintendo was an RPG machine, dude. It was a golden era of RPGs on the Super Nintendo.
Was Final Fantasy on the NES Classic?
Yes, it was.
Is it worth
No.
playing?
No.
I think there needs to be some level of visual polish and enjoyment from an RPG, at least to get me to play it. And I never saw that from Final Fantasy on NES.
NES, no.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, though. Final Fantasy 3 or 6, as you want to call it.
I had friends who played it.
I'm sorry, 7 fans, but this is the true best Final Fantasy.
I like 8 the best.
Get out of this room. Are you with 8?
Simply stating an opinion.
Oh. It's a horrible take.
I like it the best.
It's fine. It's fine.
Apparently not, because you're kicking me out of your damn house because I stated an opinion.
At least he didn't say 10, because then I'd be really mad. Anyway.
No.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Oh.
Thank you. Yes. Secret of Mana. That's like one of my favorite games. That was such a great game. An action RPG, good story, just cool characters, cool locations, lots of weapons. Oh, good game.
I was surprised by 2 things. Mortal Kombat 2 not making cut surprised me.
And we'll talk about it. Okay.
And general lack of beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
No Final Fight, no Ninja Turtles, no
Turtles. Yeah, I would assume licensing would be an issue with the Turtles and whatnot.
Yeah, but you're playing nice with Capcom because you got Street Fighter on here.
Nintendo and Capcom are probably on better terms, I would think. Then again, Konami makes Castlevania, so who knows? Dude, you know what? I honestly, I have no idea how those deals are made. Mortal Kombat not being included, I can see. From a, this is a stocking stuffer kind of item,
Yeah.
for the kids. I mean,
it's
more for the adults,
kids. Yeah.
but still, I don't think Nintendo would put that kind of game on this kind of package.
Okay, I can see that.
I mean, dude, as a Mortal Kombat guy, I would love it to be included, but I understand why it's not. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm very okay with this.
Contra 3 is probably the best Contra game. Console release.
You're gonna offend someone with that take, but I won't argue with you because I love Contra 3.
Yeah. Dual wielding.
Yeah. You can do the pose.
Yeah, the pose with the plane flying overhead with the flames on the ground.
That's right, dude. That game's legit. Yep. Turtle boss.
Yeah, turtle boss. That goes into like just spastic humping when you beat it.
That's right, he does.
He's like, I gotta hump the ground.
He does. There's some omissions.
There's some stuff I would have thought would have made it above, like,
a lot of people crying about Chrono Trigger.
I could see that.
I got a hot take for you. Ready? Got your flame retardant suit on?
Okay, go ahead.
Chrono Trigger is overrated. I said it. I don't care.
I never played it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I didn't get into RPGs until PlayStation.
Fair enough.
Final Fantasy VII was my first RPG.
We probably lost some subscribers with that take, but I don't care. I stand by it.
2 Kirby games.
Yeah, that's a sticking point. Give me one, but not both.
I would almost argue you don't really need one. Like, Kirby is part of that Nintendo original character pantheon, but
he's a B-lister. He's not an A-lister. You know what I mean?
I would almost say he's like a C-lister.
Well, you got your A tier: Mario, Zelda, Metroid. That's your A tier.
Is Metroid really in the A tier?
I think so. Yes.
If you were to be honest about it,
they don't treat it like an A tier, but when they do, well, the thing is though, when they do put out a Metroid game, it's a big deal. So that's A tier. Samus is A tier. Kirby, he's not on that level. He's a step below. Kirby's down here.
I would put Mario, Link A tier.
Sure.
Samus, Donkey Kong, B tier.
Sure, okay.
Then Kirby and everyone
Your
else.
Donkey Kong point makes me... Okay. Yeah, Donkey Kong's your B. Yeah, okay, Kirby can be C. That's... Sure. All right, yeah. I'll let it go. Yeah.
Then
God, where does Kid Icarus rank on that? Oh, no. Oh, God.
You say Q tier?
Oh, poor Pit.
Right next to Captain Falcon?
Poor Pit. Hey... Captain Falcon doesn't get much love anymore.
But the big news of this is the Star Fox 2.
Yeah.
Having never been released before.
Never released. They scrapped it because at the time that it was completed and almost ready to come out, The PlayStation and the Saturn were already out doing 3D graphics. Nintendo
so
felt
dated.
They didn't want it to come out at that time and look dated at the time and have poor comparisons drawn between the consoles because they were so they scrapped it.
How come they didn't just like do that Nintendo thing where there's a game that's about to come out at the end of a life cycle and have it be one of the launch games for the N64?
The N64's architecture was so different than the Super Nintendo's. That just wasn't a possibility.
All right.
But to be fair, I don't know how much of Star Fox 2 went into it, but N64 did get Star Fox 64, which is arguably still the best Star Fox game available. So, yeah, we're going to see what Star Fox 2 is all about. I think with it's been long enough now where when you place it next to 1 on this presentation, it'll make sense.
Yeah.
And we won't judge it against the PlayStation game or something.
So the Super NES has also reportedly corrected one of the main gripes about the NES Classic, kind of.
Longer controller cords.
By 2 feet.
2 feet goes, it's not bad, man. About 2 feet.
You're okay, so I'm not sitting as close to the front of the television as I was with the NES Classic.
They're not going to give you wireless controllers for that.
I'm not asking for
point.
wireless controllers. I'm asking for like minimum 8 feet cords.
Yeah.
Understand what
I hear you.
Understand what the modern gaming living room is now.
As one of the 7 owners of an NES Classic, I can tell you that controller cord
played that NES Classic.
That controller
sat
cord
like 2 feet from your television. It's like playing Mario on IMAX.
Kind of.
But that's not a good thing, especially for your eyes.
No. Yeah, I know.
Coming out in September.
I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. If I can get one, that is. They said they are going to make more of them than they did the NES Classic.
Oh, well, that'll
So let's
nice.
hope that means we can get them.
Yeah.
So,
let's hope it doesn't mean a ramping down of Switch production.
No. They know what they're doing there.
Yeah.
The company actually put, in Japan, when a company puts out like a formal apology, it's kind of a big deal. Like it's a admittance. Like we're fixing. They put out a written apology in Japan for the lack of Switch availability. So I think they're well aware of it and they're on top of it, and they're going to get some consoles out there for you.
So now with this announcement, the talk has already started of an N64 Classic.
Pump the brakes. 10 games, maybe.
How would you do the controllers?
You just do it.
Would you smaller versions of them?
No, full scale. But they're not packing in 4 of them. You couldn't. I don't think you can do the N64. It didn't have that many great games, unfortunately. If you could squeeze 10 games on it, that I'd be impressed.
Yeah,
I'd have to really think about them too. So don't ask me to rattle off 10 because I can't. But that says a lot about the system that I can't sit here and rattle off 10 games that need to be on it. I could do 5, 6, but
Super
I'll be struggling.
Mario 64.
Here we are doing it now.
Shadows of the Empire.
You're never see those games right there. You're never going to get because of the licensing.
I'm just reaching here.
I know.
GoldenEye, I think you would get.
No,
GoldenEye.
No,
if you can't put GoldenEye on there,
They can't.
Then you can't. Oh, because Rare did GoldenEye.
Okay, here's the thing. Rare developed it. The Bond license is the Bond license.
Yeah.
And EA now owns GoldenEye and the Bond license. So it's like EA, Rare, Microsoft is involved somehow.
Yeah.
It's like it's a nightmare, dude. So yeah, you're never going to see GoldenEye.
And if you can't do GoldenEye, then you shouldn't bother doing it at all.
Well, yeah. I disagree there. That game has not aged well.
It's not aged well, but the game defined the system, which is saying something because the system
It was a great game on the system. It wasn't the great game on the system. Define the system? No, Mario 64 defined the system. Ocarina of Time defined the system.
Everybody in college was playing everybody when I was in college and Nintendo 64 was out, everybody in the dorms were playing one of 2 games. GoldenEye or like WCW versus NWO, whichever the big
Yeah.
That was it.
You know what's better than that? WWF No Mercy. Boom.
Or it was that one. It was the big wrestling.
I'm not disputing that GoldenEye was not popular. It was very popular. But define the system. Dude, Ocarina is a 10 out of 10 game in like every list ever. Like that's kind of the N64's heyday right there.
I'm not disputing that, but I think if you did a survey and you ask people,
all the nostalgia goggle kids are going to say GoldenEye. I get that. I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
All right. That does it for the news of the week. Of course, I'm sure until you know what, I'm just going to check.
This off. Yeah.
I'm going to check right now. I'm going to go to superherohype.com or I'm just going to check a couple sites really quickly just to make sure.
We're going to walk out of the theater tonight and it's going to be, some bombshell is going to come out.
Let me just see. Oh, the Forces for Destiny trailer dropped.
Don't know what that is, but okay.
It's the Star Wars animated series that's gonna be on YouTube and Cartoon Network featuring the female heroes.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. It looks good.
Cool.
Marvel and Humans trailer tease debuts. You
don't care.
You don't care.
No one cares.
Mostly don't care. I think we're good.
We're good. I trust it.
All right. Just checking what used to be joystick really quick.
Trust your feelings. I think we're good.
All right.
Lucas thinks we're good.
Lucas, are we good? Are we good to...
He already gave you his answer. So...
Nintendo swears the SNES Classic won't sell out so quickly.
Okay, I want to believe you. Prove
me wrong, kids.
Prove yourselves right. Prove me wrong. That's right.
All right, so that wraps up the case files for this week, which brings us to the rustling of the papers. As we get into this week's episode of Daredevil. Oh, really quick side note. We didn't do it this week because we're trying to keep the episode tight. It seems every week something like this comes out. We have an excuse for why we don't do it the week it does come out. Part of that excuse is also that Drew hasn't read it yet. But Defenders 1.
Defenders 1 and Daredevil 22 have come out.
Yes.
They are both at the top of my read pile.
I read them both.
And seeing as next week will bring us to a close on Daredevil Season 2, we may want to push off of some of these comic reviews until after, maybe?
Yeah, with comic reviews, I kind of want to be as close to release week as possible.
Okay, never mind. I'll read them.
We're already almost a week old from when we record from when the comic came out.
This is true.
So, all right.
That smart Tuesday decision we made.
We could do
New
things
comic day is
smart.
Wednesday.
But that's when we give the people the show.
I know.
You know what, folks? If you want the show completely up to date, released on a Wednesday, tell someone to drive a fat truck of cash up to one of our houses to pay us to do the show, and we'll live stream the show.
I'll do the show in your house.
Yeah,
for the money.
Yeah, someone call Casper and whatever
Casper mattress.
Books.com. I don't care what. Just
Audible.
To Audible. Tell someone to sponsor us.
Blue Apron.
We'll do that then. We'll quit our jobs and do that.
Sure.
All right. Daredevil, episode 12. Dark at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
We are
almost there. We
are beginning the sprint to the end of Daredevil season 2 with this episode. A lot of stuff happening.
Elektra kind of gets her due in this episode. Gets a lot of backstory.
Devil's due.
If that helps you, sure.
The episode opens up with young Elektra.
Yes, it does.
Mini Elektra.
Okay. Yeah, doing her training with the stick and whatnot.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the warning signs were there early.
Yeah. I have a question same question I asked about Cottonmouth. When we got the episode Luke Cage that flushed out Cottonmouth's background, asked that question about Cottonmouth. I'm asking now about Elektra. Did she ever have a chance to be a good person? It doesn't look like it.
No. But then again, based on what we've seen, I don't know that she would have been a good person anywhere.
Well, nature versus nurture.
She had the bloodlust in her. Stick just kind of honed it, but even he had to admit, hey, kid, let's take it down a notch.
dial it down.
Let's dial it down a little bit.
So, this episode really... I mean, we've had episodes that deal with the Stick-Electra relationship previously, but not to the depth of this episode.
We get all the details here.
And I think it really... Not only do we learn a lot about Electra's past, we learn that above a lot of preconceptions we may have about Stick, and he's got a funny way of showing it, like most dysfunctional fathers do, he genuinely cares for Matt and Electra.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's a servant of the cast, and I think we can generally assume that the guy watching her train with Stick is probably a ranking officer in the cast. And he orders her, Electra, dead, executed.
Yeah.
And Stick slices his throat.
Kills him instead.
Yeah. So we've got this thing that Stick has devoted his life to, or at least the life that we know of, telling him to do one thing, and he acts in complete opposite.
I don't dispute that he cares. Because he does, and it's shown. Yeah. But he's also... Even his caring is sort of selfishly motivated, though, because he's got the mission and the war and the soldiers he's going to need for it on his mind. So, yeah, he cares, but I still feel like Matt and Electra are just a means to an end for him.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think this is just reflective of our personalities, You, the pessimist, me, the pessimistic optimist.
It's not to say that it's not to say he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And he's not, as he tells Matt later in the episode, he's not proud of them. He is. But he's proud of them when they do what he wants them to do. Or live up to their, air quotes, potential for what he needs them to do when whatever this war or whatever it is comes. And granted, he's right. There is this whole threat looming that everyone's just being dismissive of, and that, But still, he cares insofar as he cares when they listen. When they don't listen, he gets mad. So, like, as most fathers might, I just want you to be happy, and I want you to do your thing, and I'll do whatever I can to be there for you. Stick is kind of like, I care when you do it what I tell you to do. Do it my way.
Yeah. And Stick has a rough go of it this episode.
Oh, God, does he?
He's had a rough day.
Yeah.
Because he starts the episode fighting with Electra.
Yep.
And at first it kind of seems like she's not in his weight class, but then she proves very quickly that he's past the point where he's in her weight class.
That's correct.
And then he gets taken by the hand and, gets a little nail job. A little manicure.
Let me tell you what. Those scenes are hard to watch.
Yeah.
I cringe badly watching them put the bamboo shoots up his fingernails, dude. Ah, God. I was, wincing. It takes a lot to get me to feel that. That got me.
Yeah.
That got me bad. Even the thought of it's like, oh, God, stop.
Slide.
Stop it.
And the noise. Noise when they were shoving him in there.
Yeah, I know. Please stop it.
Looking like Edward Scissorhands sitting in that chair.
Oh, God. But so they kidnap him, but ultimately they want Electra.
Yeah. We learn, and here's where the show deviates from the source material. But not in a couple ways, but not necessarily in any deal breaker way. We learn that Electra is not only Electra, but she is also the Black Sky.
Yes, the proverbial Black Sky that the Hand want so very badly.
Yeah,
the big, as they say, the living weapon.
Yes.
Where have I heard that before?
Not in Iron Fist. Maybe in the Iron Fist comics.
Well, in the comic book.
I don't think they said it in the.
Oh, they didn't. Oh, that's right. Because all they said was Danny Rand.
Have you finished yet?
No. Thanks for reminding me. I actually forgot that I didn't finish it. Oh, God. You're going to make me finish that, aren't you?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So, yeah. That's one of... Because I don't believe that's part of Elektra's story in the comics. I know that she's had dealings with the Hand and she has worked for the Hand.
They revived her.
Yeah, they revived her, but she's not, quote-unquote, Black Sky. Now, in Daredevil Season 1, when Matt and Stick went to the docks, and Stick was there to kill that kid, did they refer to the kid as Black Sky?
I think they did.
Okay.
So, I guess they lost that one. Better fall back to Elektra.
We bring back the concept of Black Sky, but still no discussion. We know Black Sky is a weapon.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of weapon.
Well,
and I think we're going to do some finding out in Defenders.
Okay, that's probably accurate. Again, living weapon, so I mean,
yeah.
Maybe there's some holding out hope for the tournament from Iron Fist comic book. We're not going to get it.
No.
But I want my fat Cobra. Come on. Anyway.
You're not going to get at least in Defenders.
No, I know.
Have you heard any announcement of Iron Fist Season 2?
No.
I haven't either. So that's one way in which they deviate from source material. The second way kind of got on my nerves a little bit by this episode, first time around and second time around. It seems like they can't decide where to fall on what the Hand Ninjas actually are. Because at first it seems that they're just people, dudes, guys, ninja guys who are serving the Hand. Then we have the scene in the morgue from last week where they're opening them up and they see that they've been autopsied before.
Yes.
So then you think maybe they're going to the source material where the Hand Ninjas are essentially ninja zombies.
Yes.
Now, in this episode, we kind of go back to the idea that they're living people because they're breathing.
Let me stop you there. Why not both? Nobu, for instance.
Yeah.
So they're alive, but they've been dead.
All right.
Feel me? They still they need they still need to breathe and all that, but they are resuscitated people.
Okay. Okay. I can get behind that. Or some of them are alive and some of them are just
could be a mix and match.
Corpses.
Yeah.
Like rite of passage, someone to
this
die
is like
in
the Star Wars
Hand.
Star Wars Stormtrooper argument. Are they all clones or are they conscripts? Or how does this all work exactly? So yeah.
All right. No, I get you. Okay.
Column A, column B.
Yeah.
You know. So
we open up with the fight and then Stick gets taken and
Matt to the rescue.
And then we switch to the opening scene from Usual Suspects on the docks.
Ah, yeah.
Post explosion. Am I the only one who thought that? Like,
I think you are. I haven't seen Usual Suspects in a long time though, so
so good.
It's been a while.
So good.
Remember when Bryan Singer had a future? It's been a while.
You can't say he wasn't successful.
He's been
with the
Michael Bay is successful. It doesn't mean what he makes is good.
I know. Not as successful as he was with this weekend's opening.
It's
lowest opening in franchise history.
How did China take it? That's all it's going to matter, really.
It was number one China, but
then you're getting another one.
Well, it was number one here too, but
you're getting two of them.
But not with the numbers that were expected. Diminishing returns is really, thankfully, finally starting to chip away at the Bay former.
You think that's going to stop him?
God,
he can't be stopped.
So. It's not a machine, he's a man.
That's right.
Twisted and evil. So they're fishing the bodies out of the drink. Mahoney's prescribing drugs.
Karen, I got some gripes with Karen in this episode. What are you clinging to with this whole Frank situation?
Especially after last episode.
Right? You know that this guy's a lunatic. monster.
Yeah, and I think we see in this episode, she finally comes to the point where she gives Frank an ultimatum. And once again, Karen, you don't quite know how law works. You don't quite know how journalism works. Clearly, you don't know how Frank works.
What would you say you do here? Like,
she's got people skills.
I guess. She's just, it's just one too many, like, times where she's all emotional over how good Frank is. How many times you got to see this guy, like, rip a guy's throat out to know that he ain't that good?
No.
You know?
No.
So she's on the dock and she feels all weird about it. So then she goes to the bulletin and she's going to quit, but then not Paul Giamatti, talks her back into the case and working the story. And I like her at the bulletin. I like her. Sure.
She seems to have better instincts as a reporter than she does as a legal consultant.
Sure. Yeah, she's nosy by nature, so it suits her. But so she goes to see Clancy Brown. This is where this episode to me, it's good. It's got a lot of stuff going on, but this episode is like drenched in convenience. Okay?
Yeah, kind of the second she shows up at the Colonel's house, you kind of know, okay, he's going to be the blacksmith.
I didn't know necessarily, but like she only realizes it when she sees the picture on the wall, which he conveniently has on the wall.
Yeah.
Of the guy with the bandages on his face with Frank and him. And then she has the flashback to the dock where she conveniently remembers the one dead guy with the burn marks on his face. By the way, the boat blew up.
He wasn't on the boat when it blew up, though.
How do you know? How does she know that?
I don't know how she knows that.
Exactly.
But I know from watching the episode. He wasn't on a boat when it blew up.
Fine, but they fished the dude out of the water, and he had half the burned face. But for all she knew, he was on the boat and got burned up there.
No, I get that. I don't think it's necessarily like coincidental. It's easy.
It's easy.
I mean, it makes sense that a guy like the Colonel is going to have pictures like that in his house.
I
that
know,
makes sense.
but then she puts that together. Like, really, it's a little bit lazy on the writing department. Yeah. And then of course he knows that she knows. How? Oh, because she started a picture for half a beat longer. So he pulls the gun on her. Okay, well we're doing this now. Fine, it's fine. But again, how did he know?
I almost wish that
they rushed this a little bit. They could have let this breathe.
This felt a little bit rushed. I almost wish that they would have saved, kind of just put the blacksmith on the back burner to hold him for the Punisher series. Maybe,
or something. I know what you mean. Or they could have gotten to this point sooner, so they could have fleshed this out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So then, okay, now he tells her to get in the car, and they're driving, and he's probably taking her somewhere to get killed, right? That's my assumption.
Yeah,
or whatever. He tells her to pull over, and then, boom, truck hits the car, right?
Yeah.
Question for you. It's Frank. We know that.
Yeah, well, we knew Frank was around as soon as she turned on the car and the song started playing.
Is that how she knew?
Yeah.
How did that work?
She turned on the car.
Yeah.
And then the song started playing.
But why?
Remember, it was the same. It was the same song, the same tape that he was playing in the car when he picked her up from the hotel.
Okay, but why didn't...
That was Frank's way of telling her, you're going to be safe, I'm here. Without tipping off the Colonel.
I guess I got that. They could have made that a little more clear. For all I knew, she left the tape in there. Like, you know? Anyway, I got you. All right.
No, because they establish her driving up to the house with nothing. There's no music or anything being played in the car.
All right. That's subtle, but okay, fair enough. So she wasn't necessarily in on the car getting hit.
No.
Okay. That was kind of by surprise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, still convenient that he knew that. Never mind.
I think the convenience happens in where the hit took place, And I think Frank is...
Oh, yeah. Oh, so let's moving into convenience, where the hit took place.
Yeah.
That shed. Whose shed was that? That was the blacksmith shed?
Well, I think you established from the kind of house that the blacksmith has.
Yeah.
He probably has acres of property.
There's a little estate there.
Yeah, so that they're probably still on the property, and he has that set up there.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the most clever thing to do, but it's not like, oh, this is total BS.
All right. So Frank takes the blacksmith into the shed. Karen, beside herself, now decides ultimatum time.
Yeah.
See, even Huey doesn't like this. So she says, like, if you do this, now you're a monster. And it's like, you didn't think that before?
Yeah,
he killed 39 people.
Yeah, we're way past this point. You're going to give him this ultimatum when he finally has the guy responsible for the death of his family in front of him?
Yeah.
Karen, no.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
Right now, you're just sounding like the teacher from Charlie Brown to him.
Yeah. So he takes him in. Clancy Brown thinks he's going to get tortured and all that business. And, no, Frank just decides one shot, one kill, boom. Now I got a problem with this. Here's my problem. As they've already done several times, it's a free-for-all in here. All the dogs are in here now. Sure. As they've already done a few times with the Punisher this season, as good as Bernthal is, Huey, be quiet. As good as Bernthal is, I have an issue with them trying to find little ways to tweak him. So they had the bullet to the head. Oh, he might be mentally deranged. He might have, brain damage or whatever. But now they did. Then they have the blacksmith telling him, like, I taught you everything you knew. Really? We need this now? We can't just have Frank be Frank and be the killer natural Marine that he was in the comic? No. He was trained by the blacksmith, and he had his bullet to the head, so he might... There's just too many outs for him.
Yeah.
Let him be.
It's kind of the problem they always seem to run into in the films, trying to humanize him and give him a sympathetic backstory. This isn't that character.
No.
This is not the one you do that with.
No. The Punisher is the Punisher.
You sympathize with him on the level that he witnessed the horrible murder of his family, but everything he does beyond that, you don't have sympathy for at that point.
No. And like I said, the way you kind of deal with the Punisher is you put him up... The only way to make him sympathetic, or the only way to root for him, is you put him up against people that are worse than him. That's it. So, that's the kind of character he is. He's not a good guy, He's not necessarily noble in intention. I mean, in a weird way, yeah. But I've said this before. You want to make the Punisher sympathetic? Have him go up against really, really heinous and disgusting people that you want to see get murdered because they're just that bad, and then you put him in the room and have him kill him.
And that in and of itself should tell you, when you have to go to that lengths to make the character sympathetic, just let the character be who he is.
Right.
Don't worry about the sympathy.
So, I sound like I'm griping a lot, but, this episode kind of, certain parts of it rubbed me the wrong. For all the good things they did with Elektra and Stick and Matt, I did not like the Punisher side this week. That it just kind of it irked me a little. So then after he kills him, conveniently he finds the hidden panel.
It's a toy box.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Colonel said, when the Colonel's trying to talk his way out of it, like it's a toy, it's a candy store in here. So that kind of tips Frank off to this shed is...
I just took that to mean there's a chainsaw, there's a crowbar, there's some saw, there's some power tools, there's some drills.
Colonel's prepared.
Just saying. Frank finds the hidden wall because of course, and there's the arsenal, and then
it's still a great scene.
It's a great scene. It's again convenient is my. Good thing he was in there. Good thing he touched that cabinet just the right way.
Yeah. Again, convenient, but not beyond the realm of reasonable explanation.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, let's get back to the part of the episode that we really liked, which is the Matt Stick Elektra. Matt went into the sewers. As soon as he went in the sewers, I was like, turtles?
No.
Are there going to be any turtles down here? Because
If only. Can I say, by the way, that the way he got into the sewer, that was a pretty impressive little maneuver to get down there. There was no ladder. He kind of like shimmied his way down. That was. I couldn't do that.
I could attempt it. I would not be successful. It'd probably be one of those awkward falls you see on YouTube that you can only watch once because it's so bad.
Troll Blanca gets you.
Folks, you want a good time? Go to YouTube, look up Blanca as a troll.
Good stuff.
Oh, God, I love it. The ones with Zangief, too.
Yeah, or the Randy Orton RKO memes, which were a thing for a little while.
Yeah.
So he's in the sewer, and he's... what happens then? He finds...
He is ambushed by hand ninjas.
That's correct, yeah.
And then
they get wise.
That they've learned.
They know that he can't see them.
Yeah.
So they no longer draw their weapons on him. They just start kicking the crap out of him without weapons because he's no longer be able to hear them coming.
See, you talk about like all the coincidence stuff with Frank. I would have liked to see some explanation, even like the smallest bit of explanation of how they figured that out. Because there wasn't. It was just they just stopped drawing the weapons and.
Yeah. That would have been that would have helped.
And even when Stick was talking to him, he didn't say they figured out that you're blind. He said they figured out you're tracking their weapons.
Right.
You've got to go deeper and track their breath.
And I'm surprised that Matt didn't think about that before. Like, gee, maybe I should listen for their breath instead of their heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt's only had these abilities like since he was a child. You think he might...
This is one of the rare instances where I think the show could do a better job of portraying Matt's powers.
I would agree.
Because we know how the radar sense works.
Yes.
It's a radar sense. So sound, be it whatever it is, creates the tracking ability.
Yeah.
So I just think this is one of the times they could have done a little better job portraying how it's actually working.
Have we to this point in the series, seasons 1 and 2, have we only seen it that one time with Claire? Yep. Okay. Yeah. I would like to put a request in to see a little bit more of it from time to time.
Yeah.
Unless they feel they don't need to, which is fair enough. But
yeah, I mean, if they decide, we showed as much as we really need to, I mean, we can't really argue with the quality of the show.
Yeah.
But it's something we'd kind of like to see a little bit more. For all the flaws the Affleck movie has, one of the things I think they did really well was portray
the radar sense was pretty sweet.
How his powers work.
Yeah.
So Matt shows up, Stick's getting a manicure, and then just kind of Elektra shows up nowhere to kill Stick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nobu shows up with his pals for, ninja fighty stuff. And that's where we have the big reveal that Elektra is...
the Black Sky.
Yeah.
And then her whole childhood and all that kind of comes flooding back. And now she feels like she has meaning. And she's,
I kind of wish they front-loaded the episode with the flashback stuff from her childhood. Because I felt during this episode, like when they cut away to it late in the episode,
yeah,
I'm like, no, go back to where the ninjas are. Stuff's getting good there.
Yeah, that's fair. But they do, the way they do it is kind of smart too, though. Where as they reveal plot points in the present, they show you how they're relevant in the past. I had and right when I was in the point in the episode when I was like, so wait, weren't Elektra's parents like rich business people or diplomats? And then we see the adoption scene where Stick hands her off to the Nachios family or whatnot. So she is now torn, and she decides to join the Hand, essentially, right? Well, no, she's tempted by it. She's tempted to join it. She's confused, but Matt, being the voice of reason, insists that she can choose who she wants to be. So Matt, even though he's seen her do some heinous stuff, he's now going back and appealing to her sensibilities.
And he attempts to call what he's hoping will be a bluff, in that telling her to, I am the enemy of the hand.
Right.
If this is the path you're going to take, you're going to have to kill me now.
Right.
So, yeah. It was a good episode.
It's good.
It's on the weaker end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But still, a weak Daredevil episode is still miles better than the best Iron Fist episode.
Oh, you're not even close to wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I just some shortcuts in the writing are my only real gripes here, and some of the Frank stuff. But the whole Matt Stick and Elektra dynamic in this episode is really good, and it's kind of like Matt realizes, this might not be the father he wants, but it is a guy who has given him purpose in life, and they had a little moment there.
Yep. All right,
that's what I got.
Yeah, that about does it for this episode, as we're just trying to keep the dogs
at bay.
And
Michael Bay.
No. I would never apply any Michael Bay analogy to these wonderful animals. They serve more purpose in society than
yes, they do. They actually make me happy.
Yes, Michael Bay does not.
No.
So so next week we got the season finale.
Yeah,
and then we got some time to play with between now and August.
Well then,
because we're gonna be going right into Defenders, probably about the week after that comes out.
Well, we might have to.
Because I think Defenders will be an interesting opportunity for us to go into a show not having seen all of it, at least right away. I mean, probably by the second week, we'll have seen all the episodes, but it'll be interesting to speculate, like with episode 1 and whatnot, what's going to come and stuff there. So we got some stuff to do. We're also coming up on our 1 year anniversary, and we're going to see about maybe throwing, a special something together for that.
We'll see.
Yeah. But again, we appreciate you joining us. If you'd like to communicate with us, send us questions, comments, suggestions for the show, you can find us at the following social media outlets. You can go to @DevilsDuePod on Twitter. You can go to Facebook.com/DevilsDuePod. You can email us at TheDevilsDuePod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources on our website at TheDevilsDuePodcast.com. As always, we appreciate you giving us your time and listening to our show. We ask that you please review us on iTunes, retweet, share our new episode announcements. It helps the show. Anything else?
Only because it's fresh on my mind, and I want everyone to might be morbidly curious. Saturday and Sunday on Access TV. Well, Saturday anyway. New Japan Pro Wrestling is having their first ever U.S. shows. And Saturday night, I think 8 p.m. Eastern, they are devoting hours to it, airing it live from Long Beach, California. This is the NJPW G1 Special in USA. It's going to be a tournament to crown the first ever New Japan U.S. champion. And you get Cody Rhodes, who is the son of Dusty Rhodes, who just won the ROH World title. He is facing Okada, the NJPW Heavyweight Champion, who, frankly, Cody does not deserve to be anywhere near Okada. But whatever. I mean, just enjoy it for what it is. This is NJPW's first ever U.S. show. So this weekend, I would encourage everyone to check it out. There you go. Please do, because I'm going to be watching it. We're going to be talking about it.
Alrighty. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, dogs are telling us it's time to get on with our evening.
They sure are. Time for RoboCop.
Yeah, time for RoboCop. So for now, court's adjourned.